Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our channel, and thank you very much for your support. This morning I was in Jacaranda, and I realized that preparations for the Azimio convention is going on. The tents are already being erected there, and of course, I think things are set to go. When I came back, I found out that the One Kenya Alliance principals, Martha Karua, Jirongo, Musalia, Kalonzo Musyoka, and KANU leader, and also David Ochieng, new members of that alliance, signed a deal. So far, OKA has signed 2 deals. There was the first deal that was signed. It was, deal of intent. Then there's this other deal. Now, these are 2 deals. And this is coming in the backdrop of reports that Azimio, or rather Raila Odinga, is trying to bring Kalonzo Musyoka into the Azimio. And of course, I was on this record the previous day mentioning about Raila Odinga deal with Kalonzo Musyoka. That's still withstanding. So I just want to, at least Kenyans are now asking questions, because today, according to other reports that we had received, that today, the Friday, the OKA Azimio deal was supposed to be already on table, but then we are seeing this other deal between the 4 members. And again, with still the presence of KANU leader there, who one foot is in Azimio, it still tells you that, of course, the Azimio OKA deal still remains standing. And in this analysis, I wanted us first to just give you a snippet of what has happened today. Then we look at the political interpretation. After the signing OKA deal, Martha Karua flew to Kiambu, where they held a meeting or rally with Moses Kuria and Jimmy Wanjigi. I want to believe they met there by coincidence and not really that by design. They were all there to support Moses Kuria. Meanwhile, the new members of OKA are raising eyebrows. That is David Ochieng, who is the party leader of movement. I think it's movement of democracy, movement for democracy and growth. David Ochieng is the Ugenya MP, and he won that seat after a by-election there, defeating Chris Karani, who had won the seat in 2017, but the polls were a bit disputed, and High Court called for a by-election there. So he won it, and last year, November, while attending, I think, a burial in Siaya, he also mentioned that Nicholas Gumbo, who was in attendance in that OKA event, was also eyeing the Siaya gubernatorial seat, eyeing the movement for democracy and growth. So in Siaya, this party has been the alternative party to ODM, but then we saw them in OKA. Then I was also keen on Betty Adera. Which party does Betty Adera represent? Betty Adera was a former representative of, I think, Miss President, a show that ran in KTN, and she runs also some, she was also appointed, I think, ambassador of clean film by Kenya Film Classification Board, but then I saw her in that political space. I don't know to which party she's also representing. So the question that I want to ask here, and that is why I started today, who brought David Ochieng to One Kenya Alliance? Who invited David Ochieng to One Kenya Alliance? And what could be the motive? Because David Ochieng is eyeing Ugenya parliamentary seat. Nicholas Gumbo is also a member of that movement of democracy and growth. They've realized that ODM is still, the race at ODM is a bit tight, and you just know the politics of ODM, so that's why they've left the party. But for them to seek the elective seats in Siaya, they must be still within Raila Odinga's presidential space. So in short, they must still hover around Azimio. So who do you think invited them there? My first understanding, I would feel that Raila Odinga is trying to plant spies within the OKA as the talks with Kalonzo Musyoka are still going on. Most likely, this could be a deal that was hatched by Raila and Gideon Moi, because Gideon Moi brought Jirongo. I think it is the same Gideon Moi that brought in Martha Karua. They tried to bring in Moses Kore, did not work. So these fellas might be were brought in this party by Gideon Moi, and in the spirit of bringing in the unity, and of course they also have they also want to have the face of Kenya. If you listen to Martha Karua's speech, she's saying that parties will be at will to leave if they feel uncomfortable with the One Kenya Alliance. And so my assertion here is this: why do you think Raila is sending these fellas there? One, they still want the One Kenya Alliance to have a close, to be morally related with the Azimio. Because if you see Gideon Moi, you see Ochieng, you see Gumbo, you see Azimio. So with these fellas there, they want the OKA coalition to still look like the people, not look, but the perception is the people in Azimio, in OKA, to be aligned towards Azimio. Second mission of the Ochieng and there is to give a positive quorum for them to head to Azimio. Because Kanu is Azimio, Jirongo is Azimio, Martha Karua and Kalonzo are the two candidates that are contesting for the presidential seat, which I feel with them they have not yet made up their mind. But with now David Ochieng coming in, it can be something that was hatched by Kanu. Now the reason why this can be done is because Kalonzo Musyoka is the person who invited Jimmy Kibaki. So Jimmy Kibaki is also coming, and of course there is something that have to happen. That if the script by Raila Odinga, if Kalonzo, if OKA is not going to join Azimio, then it has to be dismantled. First, for you to dismantle it, you must give it the feeding so that it becomes full. Then after that, it's moved now to the Azimio aspect, if that is on table. So I just want to feel that first, Raila Odinga has a hand in what is going on. So let's also look at this. Now, what is going to happen? So it is now clear that Kalonzo Musyoka may never attend the Jacaranda rally, because what the Azimio team are going to do, they're just going to unveil their candidate, and signing of those other parties that are within Azimio are going to sign the agreements and commit to be in that coalition. There is still time, because the submission of the coalition agreements are supposed to be submitted to ORPP, Register of Political Parties, Office of Register of Political Parties, on 9th April, that is next month. So it is also clear that Kalonzo may never attend. So the question here is, what is now going to happen? Because there is Azimio, there is the three-legged stool that Kalonzo talks about, that Azimio OKA forms a deal with Jubilee. But then the reason why that is now having also a problem, why they were rooting for OKA to be absorbed, is because there is a lacuna in law that do not give the space to, that do not give that constitutionally allow that coalition of coalitions. So I think what might happen is, individually, the coalition supporting Azimio, it makes Azimio OKA coalition, but on registration, they cannot register and within an agreement on OKA coalition as an agreement. So that is also what we are looking forward to see how it's going to play out. Kalonzo have insisted on one thing, and if you listen to the speech by Martha Karua, is that they want to be equal partners if in any case they are going to form a coalition with any party. This is either Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, I want to believe, because the Kenya Kwanza is still also eyeing for them. Now, before I tell you why there is the push for equal partners, I want us to go and check Moses Wetangula's Twitter. And there is a tweet that he did, I think it was yesterday, because I bumped on it last night. And this is what he's telling Kalonzo. My dear brother and my friend, VP Kalonzo, don't allow political turncoats to shape your destiny. With the history of betrayal and deceit, plus the arrogance being displayed, think carefully before you enter the tent. Kalonzo Musyoka. So what this tells you is Moses Wetangula isn't speaking on behalf of the Kenya Kwanza. They are also trying to pursue Kalonzo Musyoka. If you can also find time, also look at the Twitter page of Millicent Omanga. I think she also said something about Kalonzo moves to Azimio. And according to what this tweet says from Wetangula is that one of the variables that Kalonzo must consider before making this move is the past experience, which to me I don't think is what Kalonzo might consider moving forward. Now, let's face it. Why do you think they are pushing for equal partners? One, Kalonzo and the OKA team wants to make sure that the running mate comes from OKA. It is no denial that Raila Odinga is the presidential candidate. And their push here, they have already known that when it comes to presidential campaign, it involves more. There is the financing, the resources. I don't see OKA, a team that has the resources. So they are willing, yes, to support Raila, but what Kalonzo Musyoka wants is to make sure that the running mate comes from OKA. And that is why they are also going to unveil their presidential candidate, so that when they form Azimio OKA, the running mate comes from OKA. And the end game is to shortchange President Uhuru Kenyatta, because it was early announced, there was that early report that President Uhuru Kenyatta, Jubilee Party, is going to provide the running mate. So what OKA wants, they want to build a big house, and that is where the competition to OKA is not Azimio, it's not ODM. They're competing with Jubilee. Jubilee is already signing with the small parties and is now growing as a bigger coalition. OKA also want to grow as a bigger coalition so that when they come on table, they come on table being viable to be the running mate. And the game plan here is, and I think Martha Karua is now viable, willing to be either Raila Odinga's running mate or Kalonzo Musyoka to be Raila Odinga's running mate. In the long run, they want to shortchange. They want to make sure that they dethrone Uhuru Kenyatta from Raila Odinga's influence space. And number two, they also want equal share of the government. And all this is coming because of presence of Uhuru Kenyatta. Martha Karua have sustained attack on Uhuru when she was speaking at Moses Kure's event. I was following that event, and she kept on repeating that the president should just exit the stage peacefully. They are going to take care of him. So what they want to get share so that Uhuru does not have a majority. If the Azimio forms government, Uhuru does not have a lion's share of that government. That is why they want that equal measure when it comes to that. I think thirdly, they're also looking at other elective seats, especially the governors in these highly contested towns, preferably Nairobi, Kitui, and also some coastal counties. So if they are going to provide equally, then where there is coalitions are going to provide candidates, are going to field candidates, they also want that power to be divided along that line. So Musyoka is also looking at succession politics. And this was captured by Martha Karua's speech when they were signing those documents. After signing, they actually mentioned that they are also looking at succession. So that is why they are so interested in making sure that OKA remains OKA. Even after, if Azimio forms the next government, they forge forward. If Azimio doesn't form the next government, they find where they can pick up and start on re-strategizing. But all in all, the long shot here is Uhuru Kenyatta to be dethroned around Raila Odinga's sphere of influence or sphere of power. When the announcement came that of course the chairman of Azimio is going to be Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga is going to be the flag bearer and party leader, that is something that do not sit comfortable well with one Martha Karua. So guys, that is it. And that is my perspective on how things are folding on OKA. Raila and Uhuru are the ones that are planting the spies, and that is strategically. Raila is planting spies on Kalonzo, and that is also because UDA is hawking on Kalonzo Musyoka.